We sometimes are also influenced by things that are outside of our conscious awareness. Sometimes candidates run short political ads that are very emotional.
I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down. I'm gonna fly like a G, they all gon' see, and if I die, I'm gonna die free.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all.
He is strong. He is fearless.
We believe in each other. We believe in our country. We're not falling for these folks who are trying to divide us. Together, we'll build a brighter future for our nation, where we stand for freedom.
We're not really processing the information all that carefully because it's going by very quickly, but we can be influenced by the emotional tone or maybe the images that are shown to us in these political ads without really being fully aware of it. So again, this is something that's outside of our rational awareness that can influence our political judgments. Another thing, and this also I should add, adds to sometimes we're applying heuristics that are incorrect. So we may use stereotypes. We may decide, for example, that without really thinking about it, we're applying a stereotype about men and women. That when we see a female political candidate, we make decisions about her without really knowing her, that perhaps she won't be as strong on foreign policy or as decisive as a male leader. Again, this is outside of the information that you might have about the person. It's a stereotype or a shortcut or a judgment that you're making about them without that information. And the last point is about people being defensive when they process information. Often we're trying to protect a point of view that we have, and so we don't deal with new information even-handedly. We'll argue against information that we don't like, maybe information that's coming from an opposing political party or candidate. So that can also distort our understanding of the policy stances that the candidates are offering to the public, and affects our ability to rationally process all of this information about the candidates in an election. The second piece of this that we were discussing that is challenging for people is the motivation. Do citizens in a democratic country have the motivation to do the research that's required to learn about their candidates running for office? The truth is, people are not all that motivated. Some might be, but many are not, to get all of this information, to spend the time and the energy researching their candidates and coming up with that spreadsheet of all the different candidates and where they stand on the issues. And what we look at when we look at motivation, we find that a lot of people are not super interested in politics. It varies over the course of an election. People's interest can increase. But for example, early on, let's say in April of a US election, which is some months, 5 months before the election, 50 to 60% of people will say they're following. They're not really all that interested, even though the campaign is underway. But that leaves about 40 to 50% of people who are not paying attention. Perhaps by the end of the election, 70% of people are saying that they're paying attention, but that still leaves 30% of people who are not. They're simply not paying any attention, may not know the candidates, may not know what's going on. So this is an indication of motivation, that some people are simply not interested in politics. People are distracted, they're focused on other things, busy with social media, they don't have time for it, and they're not really interested in acquiring the information. This unfortunately leads also to political misconceptions. So if we are poorly informed in this way, it also means that we can be misinformed. People have studied this and found, and we're seeing this, I think, increasingly in elections over time, that perhaps we're on social media, we're fed some information that's thoroughly incorrect, but we believe it. And so this, again, is a deviation from what we expect of democratic citizens who are supposed to be doing their job and getting to the bottom of what's happening in an election.